Hello guys, welcome to another edition of Ray Sports News and Debates. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the New York Knicks, and we're going to be talking about Jalen Brunson. And most importantly, at the end, we're going to be talking about Becky Hammon. And don't worry, Becky Hammon, we got something special for you. So, if you didn't know, the San Antonio Spurs, coached by Mitch Johnson, made it to the Western Conference, made it to the NBA Finals, where they faced the Eastern Conference champion, the New York Knicks. They lost 4-1. The Knicks' first championship in 53 years, and it was a really, really fun NBA Finals. I will be the first to admit the Spurs had a double-digit lead in every single game. They blew a double-digit lead in every single game. And they got lucky game 3, or they probably would have got swept. But taking nothing away from the Knicks, I don't think were the better team, but they were the more experienced team. I thought coaching had a lot to do with why the Knicks won it and the Spurs didn't. Mitch Johnson's new. It's his second year. You know, you're going to go through some hard times. You're going to go through some adversity. I do think the Spurs are going to be back. I don't know if it's next year, but Victor and that team are going to make plenty of finals. But Mike Brown absolutely outcoached Mitch Johnson. I think Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns both outplayed Victor Wembanyama. And just, again, shout out to the Knicks, man. I mean, they played great. Probably the best postseason run I think I have ever seen, ever. They went 16-3. I think their margin of victory was like 23 or 22. You know, don't quote me on that, you know, because they were barely beating the Spurs, so it probably went down a little bit. But, I mean, they beat the Hawks by 51 on elimination night. Beat them 140-89. That was a while ago, but... Jalen Brunson, my dude, congrats, man. Absolutely deserving of the NBA Finals MVP. Although 2 or 3 games in, I probably would have given it to Cat, but you definitely proved yourself the last 2 games. One thing I think I would really say that impressed me about Jalen Brunson is the clutchness. No matter how bad he was shooting, when it got to the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game, they needed Jalen Brunson to be special. He was special. Not just in one game. In every single game. Came up big. Came up clutch. That's what you want your MVP. That's what you want your star guy to do. To come up clutch. Okay? Victor did it. Jalen Brunson did. And that's why the Knicks won. But again, taking nothing away. Spurs had a great season. You know, Victor and them, they're all young. They're going to be back. Maybe not De'Aaron Fox. But, you know... Spurs they had a great year, but the Knicks just had, I would say the best postseason performance I think I've ever seen from a team. You know, down 2-1, you win 13 straight before you lose game 3 of the NBA Finals, you know, to the Spurs, which is a game they probably should have won, but, you know, the Spurs won. And then, yeah, just, again, shout out to the Knicks. You know, first championship in over 50 years, like I said. Congratulations to Mike Brown, one of my favorite basketball coaches. Well-deserved championship to him. And that's why they fired Thibodeau last year. That's why the Knicks did it. They said, we just don't think this coach can get us an NBA championship, you know, back to, you know, to the Knicks. They hired Mike Brown, and it was title or bust. That's what the Knicks are doing. Because... you know, Thibodeau brought them to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. They just got beat by a better Celtics team. You know, but... not a Celtics team, the Pacers. But, nonetheless, again, so happy for the Knicks. You know, I love the underdog stories, too. I did like the little young core of the Spurs. You know, I was rooting for them, but I have to give props where props is due. So, shout out to the Knicks. Whew. Now, the part I've been looking forward to the most, Miss Becky Hammon. Girl, what's happening? And I know you're like, why are you doing that, Ray? Why are you coming at Becky Hammon like that? Well, I'm glad you asked. Becky Hammon, a while ago came out in an interview and said, I just don't think a 6'2" or a small guard can be the best player on a championship winning team as a 1A guy. And that was before the NBA Finals. And that was specifically a shot to Jalen Brunson. Specific. We all know Becky Hammond was talking about Jalen Brunson. Okay. After Jalen Brunson's closeout performance in Game 5 to drop 45 points, Becky Hammond, as someone who's had their fair share of bad sports takes, and other people, Stephen A has had bad sports takes, the whole crew of First Take has had bad sports take, ESPN, everyone has had bad takes. But we've owned up to those bad takes. You were wrong. There's no shame in saying, hey, I was wrong. Jalen Brunson played one hell of a career, or not one hell of a career, one hell of a series and deserved to be an NBA champion. Instead, what Becky did was she went around the answer, around the apology, without giving it to him. She said, and I quote, "Oh well, ESPN is paying me these monies to make these takes. I don't go back on my takes." No one's asking you to go back on your takes. All we're saying to do is you took a shot at Jalen Brunson. You were wrong. You need to come out and say that, hey, Jalen Brunson, I was wrong. You played one hell of a series. Congratulations on the championship. And that's it. I'm not going to think of you any less of a coach. Neither are other people. But you are absolutely wrong about Jalen Brunson. You are absolutely wrong. And you need to come out, okay, and, 2 feet down, okay, and you need to own your take. Because you're not owning it. You went around it saying, oh, well, he's the outliner of the statistical, data of, small guards winning championships. No. Say you were wrong. It's not hard, Becky. It's not. Come out and say that you're wrong. Don't come out and say, oh, he's an outliner, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. You were wrong. Admit you were wrong. And then that's it. Just move on. But nonetheless, again, congratulations to the New York Knicks. Becky Hammond, we will be looking for that apology whenever you want to drop it to Jalen Brunson. I'm not even a New York Knicks fan. But Jalen deserves his props. Don't skirt around your take. Own it. And it's like, okay, he outplayed the Spurs. That's it. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for today's video. Don't forget to hit the like, comment, and subscribe button to the channel today. We're trying to get this channel to 500 subscribers on the YouTube. Once again, thank you guys so much for the love and support to the channel today. Until next time, you guys have a good one.